Tanse, to wow. Welcome to Eagle Heart Manifestation. My name is Eagle Heart Woman, and I am so glad that you're here. And today, I think you'll love what I have to share. It's a water ceremony. And I have an elder, Anne Marie Campieu, who, when she sits with us women, says the first thing that you do, men and women, is grab a cup of water in the morning and have a few drinks. Because water is an element that is so sacred, that is so beautiful. And when you think about it, it is true that we're about 65% water. And when we came from the spirit world, our little bodies formed in water inside our mother's womb. So another elder was talking about how we communicated with nature. And even though when the newcomers came, they considered us to be an inferior race and still do, but they treated us like children and took children and educated them in their schools, taught their language. But the one thing that they didn't have is that ability to communicate with all of creation. You've probably heard stories about when the settlers needed it to rain, they called in a medicine man who did a rain dance and made it pour water from the clouds. And that all sounds so romantic. And that's a sad thing that indigenous culture became romanticized in Hollywood movies and stories written by people who actually weren't indigenous. But it is true that indigenous people the world over have a special relationship with the natural world, whether it be lightning or clouds or mountains or the tiniest stone. We can work with them. They can help us. I've said before that animals appear in our dreams, and I've known people who have healing stones and they put them on people's bodies and can help them to heal. I've got a beautiful story that comes from the Kainai Nation in southern Alberta. And I was with Wallace Mountain Horse one summer, and there was a bundle transference going on. That was a sacred bundle that was probably thousands of years old that had been handed down to the keepers of each generation. And also at this ceremony we were at, some young men were going to be inducted into the Horn Society, which was a huge honor for them. So the afternoon that we gathered outside of the ring of teepees, I looked to the west, and sure enough, coming over the mountains were the darkest clouds, and you could see that it looks like dust is falling from the clouds, and that is the rain that's starting to fall. And the young men had such beautiful blankets on, and some of the women had their traditional regalia on, and it just could not rain on everybody. So Wallace disappeared, went into his lodge, his teepee, and brought out a two-headed axe. So that's an axe that has a blade on both ends. And I watched him go sort of toward the edge of the butte and say his medicine wording or his prayers. And he stuck that two-bladed axe into the ground. Within minutes, as those clouds came toward us, they parted. I kid you not. Some went to the south and some went to the north. And where we were, as those clouds passed over, not a drop of rain fell. And you could see on either side of us the bank of clouds, and you could tell that it was gray and stormy and raining. I have another beautiful story about water, and it will lead right into the water ceremony that we're going to do today. And I'm actually going to read from my book, Those Who Know. So I'm taking something that the elders did, and this story goes back to the late 1800s, and I'm going to bring it into the modern world and show you how you can communicate with the spirit of water. So this is a story from Catherine Yatsili, and this comes from northern Alberta. She is a Dene woman, and she told me about something that her grandmother told her that happened in 1891. And the story she told me was profound. So, in a tent pitched well apart from the others, a grandmother watches a battle for life play out before her. She looks compassionately into the glassy and unseeing eyes of the sweating woman struggling so hard to bring new life into the world. Her daughter-in-law has given birth to 12 babies in the past, but she's older now and probably shouldn't be having children. Old Lady Hukanuza mutters to herself, the labor has been long and difficult. Suddenly, the moans subside. Old Lady checks the shallow breathing and notices the woman's lack of response to her urgent commands to push, push, push. Old Lady fears the worst. She realizes the child's spirit has already departed, but now the mother is in danger because she has no strength left to push out the lifeless baby inside of her. Old Lady motions for her helper to lay the woman back down, and with gnarled, wrinkled hands, she reaches for a birch bark water container and sets it beside the bed that's been made of new spruce boughs and soft rabbit skin blankets. Whispering a prayer over the water, a plea to the water spirits to help this dying woman, she blows on it. An old lady lifts her daughter-in-law's head and pours a little water between her lips. She lays her back down and cradles her head. Then the old woman and her helper wait for the baby to come, and not many minutes pass before it does. So water is something that most people take for granted. It has a memory. It can heal. Its molecules can be, can I say, charged to actually be a healing elixir for us. And today we're going to bless some water together. So I've got some here, and I am a ceramic artist, a potter, so you can have when you do this, your water in a clear glass if you want. Mine's in a ceramic cup, and I'm going to pour it into this cup, and you can see that it is a beautiful woman. I do make these cups. This is called my Walk in Beauty design, and I'm just going to pour the water into it. And if you can, I would say that you should smudge the water first. And you've seen me smudge before, so I'm just going to light some. And if you don't have any smudge, that's fine. Your words will help. Your words will do the trick. So I'm just going to pass the water into the smoke, into the smudge that's going to purify this water, because it's going to become a medicine for you. I've smudged myself earlier today. So you take the water, you might want to close your eyes for this, and just hold it like a dear friend and send your love into that water. And calm yourself. Maybe take some nice, long, deep breaths. And you can say along with me, I bless this water with love and respect. May it flow into my body and cleanse anything that doesn't help me be the healthiest person I can. Let me thrive. Let me feel unlimited health. Let me be happy and let me be well. Thank you. I love you. I respect you. And you can say any other words that you want to, but this water has now been charged. And it's a medicine, and it's the beginning of the day, remember, and you're taking your first glass of water. And I like to think of where this water came from. I like to actually, when it thunders, I like to take the sound, the vibration inside of me. So when I'm drinking the water, I like to think of where it came from, high up in the mountains, probably crashing down in a waterfall, down into the headwaters of some lake. And then it comes into the city through pipes and to out of my tap. We are so lucky where I am to have beautiful, clean, clear water. If your water is less than perfect, you've now purified it, and it is, the molecules in it are lined up, and as I say, you have made a powerful healing drink. And take it in and know that you walk into the day or even into the night healthier than before you drank this water. And water, fire, earth, air, all of the elements and all of the earth help you to thrive on this earth. All of the spirits are coming together in the best way possible to help you live miopimatsuin, a good life. Before I go as well, I want to share with you a song about water. And I'm looking for my rattle. Just a moment. I'll be right back. So this is an Ojibwe water song, and it was written by Doreen Day. And apologies, it's an Anishinaabe song. I am Cree and Haudenosaunee, but Cree is very much related to the Anishinaabe language. So Doreen Day actually attended a conference with Josephine Mandamin. Josephine, the late Josephine, was a warrior for water, and she walked something like 25,000 kilometers around the Great Lakes that lie in eastern Canada and flow. There's 5 lakes, and they're between Canada and the United States. And to raise awareness for people to treat water better, Josephine spent the last part of her life walking with water, and people joined her and became aware of sewage being dumped into the water, all of the things that are unheard of for us to be doing to the water, to the spirit of water. So at this conference, Doreen Day was with Josephine Mandamin, and they heard Dr. Masaru Emoto speak at this conference. And you might know about Dr. Masaru. He did experiments with water and put some in glass containers, different amounts. And on one container, he put the word hate. And on another, he put the word love. He may have put some other emotions on other containers, but I know about the love and the hate. And he sent kind of negative thoughts to the water that had the sign that had hate on it. And he sent love to the water that had love on it. And after that, after a few days, he compared the crystalline structure of the water molecules, and the one that had the hatred, the negativity sent to it, that was a terrible. If you could imagine, if you can see a snowflake, how it's a beautiful lattice design, this design was all messed up. It was, the lines weren't straight. They were kind of bashed in, and I don't know how, they were ugly. And the snowflake, or the molecule that was the love water, was a beautiful crystalline form that looked like a, like a beautifully drawn, perfectly executed design. So Doreen Day heard Dr. Emoto say that he said people should say to water every day, I love you, I respect you, and I thank you. After the conference, Doreen was with her son, and they would pass between two lakes and where they were driving to school, and water was always in their lives as they did this trip twice a day. And her son asked if they could start to say those words, and then eventually asked if his mother could make a song. And I'm, with Doreen's blessing, I'm going to sing that song for you now, and I hope you enjoy it. It's called Nibe, Nibi, and Nibi is water in Anishinaabe and in Cree. So I'd like to sing the song now that Doreen Day and her grandson sang every day on the way to school. Nibe, Igame go. Shini Gwacha Wenigo, Gija Wenigo, Nibe, Gija Genigo, Shini Gwacha Wenigo, Gija Wenigo. Nibe, Ijage Nigo, Chini Gwecha Wene Nigo, Ija Wene Nigo, Nibe, Ijage Nigo, Chini Gwecha Wene Nigo, Ija Wene Nigo, Nibe, Ijage Nigo, Chini Gwecha Wene Nigo, Ija Wene Nigo, Nibe, Ijage Nigo, Chini Gwecha Wene Nigo, Ija Wene Nigo. Hi, Kinan Skomitin. Thank you for joining me and for blessing the water and respecting the water and loving the water. We'll see you again soon.